Right, my name's Lee Manning. I'm one of the partners at Raffingers Stuart. We've got quite a few guys at the back from the office, and they'll mingle afterwards. One of the founder partners at the firm, specialising in SME, owner-managed businesses, and taken on board the Xero sort of CrunchBoards mantle, and to try and get our existing clients using it and showing them the benefit of using both bits of software. I've wanted to do a Xero presentation for the last 2 or 3 years, and I've been put off doing it. The main reason I didn't want it to be a demo. It's really hard to put these type of presentations on without me going through the software and just showing you the functionality within the software. That's not what I wanted to do. But at the same time, I wanted to show people the benefits of using Xero. And it's only, I think it was September, that CrunchBoards launched their program. And Andrew from Xero, who's here today to give a helping hand, he introduced me to the girls at CrunchBoards. And we found that that was the missing link that I think Xero has had since it was launched 9 years ago. So now I've got something to talk about with CrunchBoards, and it's more the financial reporting functionality with CrunchBoards that Xero hasn't got. Xero's great at the operational side of things, and that's what they're really good at, and the bank feeds and everything else that they do, but they're lacking at the end, and CrunchBoards now makes that happen. So now I can go ahead and say, right, let's do a presentation on Xero, mainly around the CrunchBoards functionality. So that's why I've decided to put the presentation on today. So this is not a demo, and it's not a sales pitch. Yes, we are resellers for Xero, but we don't get anything for selling Xero. There's no commission or anything like that, but we do sell it because of the benefits that Xero has for small businesses, even larger businesses out in the marketplace. Also, what I want to do is, the first thing to do is apologise. Apologise on behalf of the accounting profession. Now, the problem we have from an accountancy point of view, that we do get bogged down a hell of a lot with compliance and legislation changes and regulations. A great example is that for payroll. Payroll with auto-enrolment and RTI legislation that's come in the last couple of years, we get so bogged down to make sure that our clients are compliant and not getting penalised, penalties and interest on a daily basis, and it's getting worse. The fines with Companies House for late filing, the fines now for RTI if you don't pay your PAYE on time every month. So we do seem to get bogged down on the legislation and the regulation. And the problem is that business owners expect accountants to help them grow their business, help them look at their reports, help them give them advice on maybe on a daily basis to help them with their cash flow, help them with their profits, help them make changes to their business and give them some business advice. Up till now, we've found that really difficult to do that competitively and at a reasonable price that business owners can actually afford to pay. Xero and CrunchBoards has changed that, and you'll see in the marketplace within, I say, the next 5 years, that the whole market is going to change from a bookkeeping and accountancy point of view. We're already seeing it already in the early stages, even though CrunchBoards has only been going for 6 months now. What I'm going to do now is just very quickly explain what Xero is about. So hopefully most of you have heard about Xero and what they do. But I thought a good way to show this would be from their blog following their conference that was held in February at Battersea. They had over 800 accounting professionals at this conference, which I think is the biggest they've ever had. When I went a few years ago at the brewery, there was maybe a couple of hundred there. So they've really ramped up and people are taking notice. And these are the sort of pictures they had there. Karen Brady did a great speech at the conference, and she explains how Xero can help small businesses, and got everyone sort of G'd up a little bit at the conference. And this is quite interesting. Gary Turner, the MD, I don't know if you can see, oh yeah, you can see it there. So he's talking about the competition with Sage and QuickBooks, who are owned by Intuit, saying that Xero have got more cloud customers than Sage and Intuit combined in Xero's 60 of 100% plus growth in the UK. So it just gives Xero huge credibility in the marketplace. And also some facts and figures of Xero. Since they started, they've only been going since 2006, 9 years, not even their 10th year now. They've acquired $230 million of funding. They're in the top 20 on the New Zealand Stock Exchange. They were quoted in the Forbes listing of the 100 most innovative growth companies. They have over 475,000 businesses using Xero worldwide, which is up 67% for last year. So the growth is phenomenal. They've actually got $269 million in cash to invest to make the software even better and improve the software for small businesses. They've got over 1,100 Andrews out there helping accountants and business owners make the most of the software. And just alone last year, they had 500 updates on their software that was just seamless, that people didn't really notice, but they're just tweaks and making the software even better to help people. So hopefully that's given a little bit of credibility to Xero, and they're not just fly-by-night company. They really are taking Sage and Intuit for a run for their money. And if you Google, you'll see exactly what they're doing. So that's my agenda. The agenda, very quickly, I'm going to start with just a really quick video, just for those people who don't really understand cloud technology and the benefit cloud technology has from an accounting point of view. So a quick video which I think you will find quite useful. And I'm going to go through some reporting, actually show you some live data on CrunchBoards, where I use a case study of a client that's actually using the system and the reports that he's generating from that. Also, very quickly, the benefits of Xero, and look at some of their add-ons. I think Xero is very powerful from an add-ons point of view because they're open source. Any program can connect with Xero. They'll have over 350,000 add-on partners to make your business more efficient and using the cloud technology. And I will actually show also Receipt Bank, which is one of the add-on partners that we use for our clients, the benefit of using Receipt Bank in your business.
What's all the buzz about cloud computing? To get started, we need a busy person. Let's call her Sandy. Sandy not only wears awesome cowboy boots, she's the technology partner in a company. Medium size. 18 people in the US. What do? How about accounting, tax service? They need desks, chairs, computers, and also software. They need servers for their database, a backup system. They need a safe room for all these machines, a network that keeps them all connected, and the clients connected to them. And they need an IT employee to install it. But because the company is too small, they don't have their own IT guy. They have to call an external consultant. Once everything is set up, it works. Until they start to use it. 18 people use the system in 18 different ways. So the database turns into data chaos. Once in a while, updates have to be made too. Servers renewed, old data migrated again, and Sandy's company is growing. More and more important data continues to be stored in the office. In one place. Risky. And Sandy, she wants to have her life back again, spending her spare time Western dancing or playing golf. Not worrying about technical stuff. Why not do the same thing as back at home? Her music collection, stored on the web. Movies, she watches them online. Family pictures, she shares them on the net. Her encyclopedia is called Wikipedia now, and so on. Why shouldn't her business do the same and move to the cloud? Like this. Everything is stored in this safe and secure place, and all she needs to access it is a simple web browser. This is called cloud computing. Put your whole workflow on the internet. And if your business grows, simply add more users to your cloud, like this. Or remove them again. Finally, Sandy feels free. And her husband likes that as well. Wherever she is, everything is just one click away. Okay, we're working on that one. Imagine, by 2020, every byte in the digital universe is expected to live in the cloud, or at least spend some time in it. Your company shouldn't lag behind. Move. Sandy did.
Hopefully most of you knew all of that, but it's just a good way to explain how accounting software has now joined up with the rest of the technology and using the cloud. advantageously. So some facts and figures: 78% of UK organisations use at least one cloud-based service. 90% will be using cloud services by the end of 2015, and 60% 2 or more cloud services. As you can see, the sub 200 employee organisations are getting there. I'd imagine if you looked at these stats even 2 or 3 years ago, it would have been a lot lower. So I think it just shows you where it's going, and it's here to stay, and you've got to encompass cloud technology or you basically get left behind. So why adopt cloud accounting for software? This is actually a Sage, yeah, the green colouring. This is actually a Sage slide, but there's shows there that 92% of clients are satisfied, completely satisfied with their cloud-based services, and 33% actually see it as a cost reduction of financial savings using the cloud-based systems, because they've got fewer infrastructures, I know it's hard to read at the bottom, but, and lower costs of ownership. Challenges of cloud. Now I think this is more basic cloud internet concerns, irrespective. I don't think it's just relating to accounting software. Security and privacy issues and lack of knowledge is just a common threat and a common problem that people find. But the thing I always say to people is that most of the people here use internet banking. So internet banking is on the cloud. You're using it on your phone. And more people using it on mobile devices, and that's using cloud technology. So if you're happy to give your bank details or pay on a credit card online, that's using the cloud. Why not then have your accounting data in the same way? So I don't think that's a huge issue anymore, and I think people now over the years, as youngsters come through, accept that cloud is here and this is the way it's going to be. The advantages of using the cloud accounting software: so it's flexible, so you can use it anytime, anywhere, from any place. Again, it's secure and private, so everyone's got passwords. So as long as you don't obviously give your passwords out, you have to log in every time that you go in to use the system. Real time, and it's instant, so you don't have to worry about waiting or uploads or anything like that. So you're getting that information instantly. Multiple users, especially with Xero, there's unlimited users, and you pay just one subscription for the program, so you can have 100 users all over the world logging in and using the system for the same price. As I said, it's up to date, so the updates come in. There's no more loading disks or waiting for an update or shutting the server down whilst the upgrade is going on, so none of that happens anymore. And there shouldn't be any downtime. The only downtime normally is where they have major changes to the software, and it's normally on a Sunday night that no one's hardly using it. But the time that I've always used it, there's never been an issue logging into the program. And then you've got your reliable reports. Now this is an example of CrunchBoards. Now, what used to happen to get these type of reports real time and up-to-date information, you used to have an accounts department. You used to have an internal management accountant full-time with a team in the sales ledger and the purchase ledger producing these reports. But now that's all changed, because the way the software works, you can generate this information as long as the Xero information is there and it's working. You can create these boards from CrunchBoards instantaneously, because the information gets sucked straight from Xero on a daily basis into CrunchBoards. So you don't need the accounts department anymore to generate this information. You can visualize it on a daily basis, so you can set boards up to give you information on a daily basis. If there's certain information that's important to you, you can get intelligent insights. You can benchmark your business against other businesses, and you can obviously react to problems a lot quicker than you would normally do, because you're on top of the finances, you're on top of the cash, you're on top of the profits in your business. This shows some real life examples of some boards that I created for a client, City World Recruitment. Unfortunately, the guy can't make it today, but he said, look, no problem, you're welcome to use this information and the reports that we prepared for him. He actually had all his bookkeeping on Excel before, so it wasn't even if he actually was used to a bookkeeping package. He looked at Sage many years ago and just dumped it after a few weeks. He just couldn't get his head around it. But he never knew how his business was performing until the year-end accounts 6 months after the year-end. But showed him the Xero and tried to show him the benefits, and he actually, as the MD, does it himself every day, goes into the bank, downloads the bank feeds and deals with it, so he knows every day where he is, and he forecasts going forward what's going on with his business. What we did, this is a sales snapshot and forecasts. So these are boards that we've created. The first one, the sales snapshot, basically that updates on a daily basis. So he's put in there that he wants to monitor his sales compared to his forecast. So every day that feed comes through from Xero, and he can see how he's performing compared to his forecast. He can also see how he's comparing to last month, how he's comparing to last year. So that's just a board that just happens every day without him having to do anything. All he has to do is look at the information, and it's there. Sales forecast within CrunchBoards, they've got quite a powerful forecasting tool, which is only going to get better over the months. The girls have promised us that they're trying to get the software to be as good as Sage Win Forecast, which is, I think, one of the leading forecasting tools in the industry. And they want to be able to, within the system, put in really strong forecasting and budgets within the program. So what we've done, we've gone through and said, right, okay, what we're looking to do, he wants to move more into contract placements as well as perms. So we said, right, okay, what do you think you're going to do for the next 12 months? So we can start using that and benchmark that against his actual performance throughout the year. Another board we've created, which he said is really valuable, just looking at your budgets for the actual, to see what he did budget, compare that to the actual figures, and see where the trends and see where the problems are month by month. Another one that we've created for him, normally you'd cover this by your CRM package. Your CRM, especially in recruitment, they've got really specialist CRM packages that you can really drill down into some of the figures. But he hasn't got one set up yet, so we're using Xero to just track how the team members are performing, so we can see which team members are doing well and what team members aren't doing so well. Also, we can do some commentary, so you just got 3 text boards that you can write and you can put notes, and they're there for the future, so you can always refer back to them. What's coming also in the next upgrade, I think that you're able to import from a CSV file or from any other PDFs into this board, so all your reporting structure is in one place, which is quite handy if you're doing KPIs or other reporting on another bit of software. So it all puts it in one place for ease of reference. I particularly like this that we put together, the watch list. If you can see that watch list, he said, look, I want to see how I'm doing on a weekly basis. So we've set up something that shows the last 12 weeks on the key figures in his business. So again, without him having to do anything, that information has been sucked in from Xero. As long as it's up to date, every week he can see and look at the trends, look at his cash ratio, his profit margins, his operating profit, and other key data in his business. Again, you've got a commentary board there that we've put together some management figures, and we're just showing how he's performing, again, which is all free text. We've got financials that we've put together. He finds that obviously his biggest cost is his wage bill. He wants to see how his, this is a better one, how his salaries are compared as a percentage to his sales. So you can see that it's quite seasonal, his business, so he can then make provisions with his bank, and he can make sure that he's got enough cash to pay the wages where the percentages are high. Also, it enables him to see if he's overstaffed, and obviously who's performing and not performing. So again, this information is coming straight from the Xero software. He also wants to keep an eye on his bank balances. He does put money away for his VAT account, which is quite a good idea. He has a savings account, so he just wants to make sure the VAT, that there's enough money in the VAT account on a monthly or a quarterly basis to make sure that there's no problems when the VAT's due. And the same with the other bank accounts. He quite likes to see what's going on. In the good old days, we used to have clients that they used bank, just by looking at their bank statement, the bank balance, they could get a feel for how the business is performing. So the same sort of thing on the chart there. Also, he quite likes, which is a bit weird, the advertising ratio to his revenue. So he wants to know if he's spending too much on his advertising compared to some of the sales and the income that's coming through. So again, we can map that out and make sure that he's not overspending on the advertising. And then you've got your traditional P&L month by month, and you can change this. You can do as much detail as you want. But again, it just shows very quickly how the business is performing month by month, looking at the trends, seeing why there's a couple of months there the operating profit is actually making a loss June, July, and then September it picks up. So again, he can plan for next year if that's going to occur again. So he might turn around and say, right, for March 15, I want to compare my P&L, my actual, to the forecast that I did. So we've done a forecast. He wants to see for that month how he's performed against that. We haven't done a board yet for that, but he says, right, can you create me a board to show me how that works? So basically go in the software, create boards, and there's 5 different boards that you can create. So this is a comparison board. So I'm going to, the client city world recruitment. So I'm going to compare the forecasts to the actual data. And the date I'm going to do is for the 31st of March. And I'm not comparing it to any month, so it's just that. So that's the first part to set it up. Now I actually now put some figures in. Income's is a default item, so now I want to add some other accounts. So he's going to say, right, I want to see what my cost of sales are, i.e. maybe my contract labour costs, and also want to add on some expenses that are in the system. I want to add a formula, and there's default formulas that you can pull any formula out, and you can create your own formulas. So here I'm going to use operating profit, and basically you can create, if you're pretty good at spreadsheets, you can create any formula within CrunchBoards that you want. That's my operating profit. I want to display it, combo, so I want to show a bar graph and the figures down below. And if I've done it right, and maybe I should give it a title as well. So P&L March 15 budget v actual. Flip the chart, make the chart bigger, and there I've done within a couple of minutes. Granted, I've used the software quite a lot, so I know my way around it, but granted, very quickly, I can now show him how he did actual against his forecast for March 15 for those key income, expenses, and his operating profit, which is pretty cool. So that's all sucked in from Xero. All right. So once that's done, that's saved. So the way the software works is that we can create these boards on behalf of clients, and you share the board. Press that, put in the email address, he gets the email with a link, and he can see all those boards. He can actually also, if he wants to, start creating his own boards as well. So it's not just for us, it's not a read-only bit of software. He can go in and say, right, okay, now I want to start manipulating my figures as well. And that's the beauty of the software. So some other slides. This is not from this client, but just some other slides which I think are quite useful to show the flexibility and the power of CrunchBoards. You could have a business that's got 3 branches or 3 regions that they operate in. And as long as you're putting that information in Xero properly, you can actually get information for those 3 areas like here. So that actually says, believe it or not, that says net income, operating gross profit percentage, and wages to sales percentage. Again, on the next update, because they're forever changing and improving the software, you can then have a consolidated board showing the 3 of these together, which is really powerful, because I can see going forward, if you think about we've got, I don't know, 30 recruitment companies within our practice, I can show each one of them and then consolidate, and using that to benchmark what actually is happening in the industry for our clients compared to how your business is doing. So that's pretty cool. This is another one, very quickly. I've got another set of boards that clients put together for directors' board meetings. So there's certain financial information that the board members want to see. Corporation tax liabilities, you've got property expenditure, return on advertising, marketing spend. So these are really nice set of boards just for the directors' meeting. So again, these are shared out just to the directors. Now the beauty of this as well is that you can send different boards to different members of the team. So you could create sales boards just for your sales directors, you can do your finance for your accountant, different boards for different people, and they can only see those. They don't have to see other financial information within the business, which I think is quite neat as well. I quite like this, alerts. I did a bit of a dummy alert there just to show the power of this. that I can set an alert to say, right, if the VAT liability account hits £1,000, it sends me an email, it sends the client an email and says, look, don't forget your VAT account has risen to £1,000 for your organisation, so just be aware of that, which is quite nice. You can do that with bank accounts, you can do it with anything within the bookkeeping software, it's a sort of a trigger for any information that you want to keep an eye on, which is quite nice. Forecasting I've talked about. It's getting there. I've used it, and it's great for really basic forecasting. Anything a bit complicated, if you're factoring, it doesn't really like factoring, so you've got to bear that in mind. If you've got maybe a large workforce, it's not sophisticated as some other forecasting tools, but I've been promised it's getting there, and it will get there. And I think that will be a bit of a game changer for CrunchBoards as well. If they can come in and say, look, we've got a really easy, simple forecasting tool that anybody can use, it will make such a big difference for us, for us to produce a set of forecasts for a client over 2 or 3 years. The work that goes into that is just a lot of work, and it's really expensive for the client to actually pay for, which sometimes the clients aren't willing to pay for that, but we know how important it is to forecast and budget your business. So I think this, again, will make it a lot easier and a lot cheaper to actually produce that information. So there, I've got scenario A and B. You can't see it, but for B, I put in an extra salary, an extra employee, and what the effect would have on the sales for that employee, and we just compare the two scenarios. So that's a lot of CrunchBoards. So it's giving you, I think, a feel for how the reporting works. It can't work unless some people are using Xero. Now, CrunchBoards only works with Xero because they've seen that Xero's real time, and that's the way the market is going. It doesn't work with Sage, and it doesn't work with QuickBooks, so they've just kept it quite close using Xero. And I've explained 475,000 businesses worldwide actually use Xero, 61,000 in the UK, nearly. And they're doubling every year in the number of users that are actually using. The main benefits of using Xero, which most of the other cloud packages do not do. You've got the fast bank reconciliations. With Xero, they've now got, Andrew, you're going to have to help me out here, they've got direct bank feeds with what banks?
RBS, NatWest, HSBC, Silicon Valley Bank, and Metro. Very soon Santander and Metro Bank. Right,
so what that means, their direct feeds means that as soon as it hits your bank account, that gets sucked. Sorry?
We have Yodlee feeds with 86.
Right, so there's two different ways the bank feeds work. The direct feeds kick in as it hits your bank account. As it hits your bank account, it goes straight into Xero. Is that right? Yeah. So they're your direct feeds. The Yodlee feeds, which is a bit of software that sits in between, you've got to go in and refresh the feed every day, and then it sucks it in. All right? But the beauty of that is if you've got a lot of bank transactions going through your bank account, all that information comes straight into Xero without you having to type anything. All right? Which is really cool. Inventory and payroll, the two newest bits of modules that they've introduced. You can now deal with payroll within Xero, and it's part of the subscription. You don't need an add-on partner or anything like that. It deals with auto-enrollment, it deals with pensions, and been told over the forthcoming months it will be a very powerful HR tool as well as just running payroll. The inventory system is also very powerful for simple inventory stock taking, stock system. Anything a little bit more complicated where you maybe making things and you've got a big inventory system, you would want an add-on partner to come in. But for simple inventory system, the Xero module works really well. Mobile, so you can do this on any device. So you can do your bank recs, you can raise sales invoices with it on your mobile and your laptop, your iPad. Easy invoicing. So with the again another one that they've created with is proposals. You can now create a proposal. You can send that proposal to a client. They can electronically agree and sign that proposal. It creates an invoice automatically. The whole thing is really seamless. Again, you can do that on a mobile device and you can do it on an iPad, so you don't have to be stuck in your desktop PC to create invoices when after you've seen your clients. You can manage your cash flow by scheduling payments. The third-party apps I've talked about, and I'll go in a little bit more detail afterwards about the apps and the add-on partners. The purchase orders, there's a purchase order system in there, so you can do that, which some clients actually prefer raising the purchase orders. And expense module as well, which is really cool. You can actually take pictures of the expense, all your little petty cash receipts, take a picture, upload straight into the software, and you can keep an eye on your expense claims for you and your employees, which is quite nice as well. So they're the benefits of using the Xero. Add-ons, which I think is important, because I think even Xero, I don't think appreciated how that was going to take off and people using the open source capability of Xero. I'm going to talk through these a little bit in the middle in a while, but just to go into Xero's website and show you, and they've made this a lot easier to navigate as well. A few years ago, this was a bit of a nightmare to try and find anything. So you can browse by category, and you can browse by industry, which is quite handy. I only had a potential client the other day asking me, they do all their business with Amazon, and the Amazon reporting is a nightmare. You try and understand how Amazon produce their reports and try and replicate that or put that into an accounting system is a nightmare. So he said, they asked, is there anything we can do with Amazon? So you just go there, have a look, e-commerce, and lo and behold, there's a nice little bit add-on partner, A2X accounting, basically sucks all the information from Amazon straight into Xero. Saves them so much time having to re-input everything again. So that's where we as a firm are getting to know all the add-on partners to make businesses a lot more efficient. So we'll look at their systems and go, why don't you use this bit of technology? Why don't you use this bit of technology and make the whole thing work really well? Salesforce is, I think, one of the most common CRM packages that talks to Xero as well. You can look at industry. There's nothing really there. So even looking, I haven't looked at this. So I don't know, maybe a garage contacts us. Is there anything that we can do? And there are a couple. There's two add-on partners that deal with workshop software and help with the back end. So again, really, really powerful. Receipt Bank I'm going to talk about, and again I'm going to try and show you a live demo on how Receipt Bank works, and I'll explain to you what's involved with that. Vend is an add-on partner we've used for retail businesses. It's an EPOS system that all they do is use an iPad, and the iPad works on the cloud, and you can connect credit card terminals to Vend. Really powerful. I think they're an American company, I think they're an American company, but really taking the UK by storm for an EPOS systems. Move My Books is quite a nice little program. If you are using Sage or QuickBooks or another accounting package, they will actually transfer all the files, all the data into Xero. So you've got all that history there. You don't have to run two packages at the same time, which again is really neat. Workflow Max, if you've got businesses that you need to keep timesheets, that works really well. You can have an online timesheet system. The guys can have a user password, they log in on their mobile app, put their timesheets on their mobile, and it all works seamlessly. So that's a really neat bit of software. And Go Cardless is just an online payment system, an e-commerce payments facility. Right, this should be fun. So Receipt Bank, I'm going to try and show how Receipt Bank works. Now, Receipt Bank works in two ways. It's a document management system, not a very sophisticated document management system, but even so, it's a good document management system. But also, it reads all purchase and expense invoice data. You don't have to input any of the figures or the data, and it sucks that information straight into Xero. All right, so if you've got a big purchase ledger or a lot of invoices, a lot of expenses, and you've got maybe someone dedicated to do that, you can actually get a little bit of software and they actually do it for you. So I'm going to show you that because we do use it a lot, and I think it's a way a lot of businesses are going using the technology. So this is the home screen. They've changed the layout, and I think they've made it a lot more modern, a lot more easier to navigate and to use. So I've got City World that use this bit of software. So basically this is your home screen. So basically what they've done, these 4 invoices, they've uploaded by various means. They can upload it from their desktop, from their photocopier or their scanner. They can email it, They can do it via an app. They can actually send it by post. You can actually do, which I didn't even realise, trip catcher. You can do your mileage through this as well, so you can monitor and keep an eye on the mileage if that's important to your business. Or you can do it in Dropbox. So basically, they've covered everything, any means of getting this information into the software. So Cityworld have uploaded their invoices, and that's all the detail. Now, if I just click on that invoice, and basically what it's done is taken the information from Green Geeks and put it into format on the right-hand side here. Now, basically, no one's had to input this. It's using document recognition software to read the information. So all you need to then do is just check, basically, the supplier name's right, which it is. You can see it's actually in dollars, and it's converted it back into sterling. And the important one is your category. So is it being posted to the right category? So yes, software and consumables is correct. And as soon as I press publish, that then means that's going straight into the Xero software, which I'll hopefully show you in a minute that shows up in the software. And then it moves on to the next invoice. So you look through the next invoice, yeah, that looks all right, and I'll publish that. The next invoice, that's again subscriptions. Again, that looks okay. I'll publish that. So you can see very quickly, you can get quite quick at, oh yeah, that looks okay. There's not an issue. And you can see there, look, it's publishing at the moment, and that's moving it into Xero. So you could, I think the beauty of the new layout is that you can actually have a whole list here. So you know your supplier's prime looks, yeah, I know it's general expenses. I know the amount looks about right. I can publish it, and it's done. Then in the same way, you've then got your suppliers. You can then go in and just pick any supplier up. If you want to find that invoice again, you go in and you just go through a few stages, and you can then see the original invoice. Now, the revenue have accepted that they will accept this information as the original copy. So you can actually destroy, if you were brave enough, destroy the hard copy that you've got in the office. And more people are now getting invoices sent via email. So all you do is just forward that email straight to your email address, and then it's there. That's Receipt Bank. So you can set it up how you want it. So I think I've set this up that it goes as a draft in Xero. So you go into, I'm just waiting for it to see if it's public. Yeah, can you see that it's only left one, so those two have published, and I'm going to try and go into Xero, and hopefully it should be in there. So you can do either one. We do it as draft, so then you can check it when it's in Xero and then authorize it, which means you'll then actually post that invoice in Xero. Some of them you can go right to the final stage and not even authorising it, just goes straight in there, which you can do if you're quite confident that the information is correct. So this is using Xero, and basically that's your dashboard that basically shows you your bank account and some other important information on the right hand side. You can change, navigate, you can change whatever you want on this dashboard if you want to, which is quite important as well. So if I go into purchases, hopefully, there you go, there's those 3 invoices that have come through as a draft. So if I click on them, you can see those 3 invoices that are there. That little one means that there's actually a copy, a second copy has gone into Xero as well as Receipt Bank, so you've got it in twice. So if anything, one goes down, which shouldn't happen, you've got another copy somewhere else. So if I know they're all okay, I can just press that and approve them. That's in the system. So those are then into the bookkeeping system. Receipt Bank will actually recognise, and I've seen that with a couple of clients, will actually reject it and say, it looks like this is a duplicate. It will actually stop that. But what I've found with clients using it who aren't used to doing it, they're putting pro formas on. So you're getting a pro forma, then you're getting the invoice. So unless you're checking it, it's going in twice. So you just a little bit of educating the client to say, look, pro formas that we don't want, just in the invoices that need to go on. But the important thing is just to keep checking your balances on a regular basis to make sure there's not duplicates in there. So the idea is to just try and stop you getting bogged down with paperwork and just get you to run your business and what you're good at, and everything else is working behind. So if you think about Xero and Receipt Bank, I can have my bank account reconciled and my bank information and all my purchase invoices in Xero, and I haven't actually inputted anything yet, which is quite cool. So that's it on CrunchBoards and Xero.